This is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest again here, 20265 Oregon 213 in Oregon City. Second video here. My dang tablet just ran out of memory there as I was pulling the camera back in. So anyway, I was just talking about this little belly here, and I'll zero back out again. My foot counter reset there when I had to restart things. This is 8 feet out from the clean out. Very short line. Terminates at the two concrete lids straight out here in front of the house, or the septic lids. You have the last 1 foot of the line here. You're holding about a 32nd of an inch of standing water, maybe 1.5 feet. So basically from about 8 to 8 feet, you have the world's tiniest belly. So what I was just talking about there is, you know, that's a belly I hesitate to even write up on a report. It's so small, and even call such a thing a belly. But anyway, as it relates to repairs, after doing this for 15 years now and 25,000 sewer scopes, where I just start to consider repairs on bellies, just to give you an idea, is once there's about a 5-foot section of pipe minimum with at least 1 inch of standing water is where I start to consider repairs. And generally a belly like that, I'm only going to recommend you fix if it is right up against the house or underneath it. And to be honest with you, even at that point, it is still has far more to do with how the line's being treated than anything as to whether or not it manifests itself in the form of a blockage. So what you have there has essentially zero bearing on functionality. So right now we're going backwards. This right here is the dive. We're going up the vertical drop as the line dives down to leave the house. You have a little bit of standing water right here. This too, also minor. This is about, funny enough, they're both at 8 feet, going both directions. So right there at its worst point, that was the only time that water line even came up above the camera lens. So you're between a 1/16 and a 1/4 inch here of water. And this one here starts at about, it's close enough, about 6 feet to 8 feet approximately. You're holding between a 1/16 and a 1/4 inch of water. So both of which are far too minor in my opinion to do repair. So this one, for instance, I mean, it wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world to fix. It's exposed piping in the crawl space most likely, but it's nothing I would waste any time whatsoever trying to mess with. It's way too small. The only time you would ever be able to even get a blockage in a spot like that, whatever you'd flush down the line would be blocking and breaking loose the entire way. You'd have to be blocking the line up before you even got there for that to come into play. The one thing that you will get, and this goes for all septic systems, lines in general, but especially septics, you really want to try to avoid any fats, greases, and oils from going down the sink. In the case of septics, you want to try and keep 100% of it out. It's hard to do, but you know, vast majority is what you're really aiming for. If any time, especially a lot of grease and oil goes down the line, it'll build up anywhere, but it tends to concentrate a little bit more so at areas of standing water. If you notice, if you go back and watch the video, right as I come out of that belly going back toward the crawl space, there's a tiny little bit of grease in the flow line. That probably accounts for almost every bit of grease that's ever gone down this thing. This line is extremely clean. Anyway, you just want to try to avoid that. What it does, if you do it a lot, it can cause the line to block up much easier in the immediate. Over time, though, where it really gets you is that grease gets into the septic system. It'll float up to the top of the water and then float off into the drain field, and then it will clog the drain field up. And because these lines don't terminate into a main lateral where you can just hydrojet all that junk into a main lateral off to the city to be dealt with, these terminate into the ground. So you can't drain clean them in the same kind of manner. So you just want to take extra care not to create that kind of problem for yourself. Anyhow, good looking sewer line here, good flow end to end, 2 super minor bellies, neither of which are anywhere near repair worthy in my opinion. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time. Nice looking line.